Math Tutor. Welcome to Basic Math. This is lesson number 1. This lesson concerns with how to identify what a number is, what type, what is the classification of a number. Right? And the second part of this lesson deals with sets of numbers, okay, how to group, associate numbers together. Now, before we get started, make sure, of course, you've downloaded the notes and printed them up and had a chance to read through them. Okay? So if you haven't had a chance to do that, put this on pause, read the notes, come back here. All right? You did it? Okay, great. Before we get started, a small technicality. This is going to represent what I'm going to call, and what a lot of people call, the real number line. It's just a line. I'm going to divide up in little bits and pieces. And the wonderful thing about the number line is there's what's called a direct correspondence between numbers, which I have right here in my hand, and number line. So, for example, the number 1, if I place it anywhere on a number line, there is actually a point on the number line that corresponds right with it. And that point represents 1. I want you to understand that. You have the number 2. Put that right there. The number 2 has a point on the number line that, again, directly corresponds and is associated with the number 2. Now, with this in mind, we can now talk about numbers and how they are classified and how I can actually view them on a number line. So we're going to be doing that next. Natural numbers. Natural numbers are the numbers you can count with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and so on. Sorry. We can represent the natural numbers with this symbol right here. Okay, it's a capital N, and it's rather stylized type. It has like a double bar through the center. And you'll see that in my math notes, and you'll see this in textbooks sometimes. Now, some math classes don't bother listing these symbols. If your book doesn't, then don't worry about it. Okay, but I will use the symbols. Again, natural numbers are numbers you can count with. On the number line, here's an example of how I can represent the numbers. I can start with 1, and then start with 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5, and 6, and where am I going to stop with this? I'm just having too much fun here. I just can't stop. Oh, sorry. Well, you get the gist of it. They do go on forever. The smallest natural number is the number 1. Okay, so 1 is the smallest natural number. It's very important to remember that. Sometimes people are asked that on tests. Whole numbers. The natural numbers are fine for counting, but we're missing a very special number, which we need to take into consideration. That is the number 0, right there. And, of course, it has its corresponding point on the real number line. This collection of numbers are called the whole numbers. This is the math symbol for it. 0 is the smallest whole number that you can have. Be aware of that. There is no largest whole number. This goes on forever and ever. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Integers. Well, whole numbers are fine. You can do quite a bit with them. For example, hey, I can count the big bucks here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10, and 20. That's great. But, for example, if I look at my bank accounts recently, I don't see any of these things. I see a little dash and then a number. Like it's a negative value, they're called. Okay, values are less than 0. In fact, let's look at that on a number line here. I've changed my numbers. So if I have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 forever, that's fine. But see, there's this whole other area on the number line which we have not talked about. Now, we want to talk about them. And that is where integers come in handy. The symbol for integers is a Z. Why a Z? I don't know. Latin or something? I try looking it up. I can't find it. Maybe someone can write to me. But it's traditionally denoted by the letter Z. Again, it has this double bar with it. And now, let me take a moment to show you on a number line the other negative numbers. Well, here we see now the negative numbers on the number line. So if you take a moment here, this is how you can represent integers on a number line. Again, each dot represents each number. Right? And again, some people have a hard time grasping the concept of a negative number. Just think of it as a debt. Again, like my bank account balance. Another example using integers is temperature.